what I've learned from the Hasidic Jews. So in this video, I want to dive into a few of the big lessons I've taken away from spending roughly a week in this community. Actually, a little bit over a week. It's been a wild ride, eye-opening experience. So I'll jump right in. So firstly, from the outside world, it looks very tough, like there's a hard shell. That's how I always felt until I actually got in here with some locals. But actually, people are very warm once you get past, let's say, the front lines. Very much like the Slavic world, like Russia, Ukraine. A lot of warmth, a lot of depth, but you got to earn it. You got to get in there. Secondly, history. History has a lot to do with the way people think, and obviously, most of the people in this community, in these Hasidic communities, are descendants of Holocaust survivors or lost family members in the Holocaust. It wasn't that long ago. So I believe, I can't speak for anyone personally, but I think there's something in there. There's a little something in the back of a lot of people's heads of what happened, and never to forget that. And that's why you find a lot of really strong community, I would say. Discipline. I find the Hasidic Jews have amazing discipline. Look, they're in the heart of capitalism, New York City, and they're very much holding on to their ways. Depends who you're talking with. That's another thing here. In Judaism, there are secular Jews and on one end of the spectrum, and Hasidic Jews on the other end of the spectrum. And even in the Hasidic sect, there are many different types, and that alone is a very complex place. So to even label Hasidic Judaism as one thing is quite difficult. Even in New York City, there are 3 different big neighborhoods, and they all have a different feel to them. The community has also taught me to kill judgment. I look at myself as an open-minded person that's, looks at everything the same. But, we're human. And I had my, before I went in, I saw unorthodox, and I had some guy come in the airport, and that was my view to the Hasidic world. Now, after being here, I've felt such love, warmth, depth, connectivity. And I want to make a point here. This is, we're all humans. So in this community, there are great people, there are terrible people, just like any community in the world. And those stories all exist at the same time. I've been extremely fortunate to be with such amazing people that have brought me in. So my experience is just my experience, and that's what I've brought you along through. Does that mean like nobody's getting abused or there aren't terrible issues? Of course, that exists, and I'm not saying it doesn't. But that exists in every community in the world. Hello. I love this. Everyone's out connected together. Today is Shabbat, Sabbath, which is day of rest, which means no technology. So even though I'm not Hasidic, I will never be Hasidic, and I don't want to become Hasidic, I can respect their values, I can respect their ways and their traditions and their culture, and I don't have to agree with everything. And we're in a crazy space in the world where people feel like, the other has to be just like them and agree exactly how they do. Well, everyone has a certain set of conditions, a different culture, and we all come from, we all have a different set of cards. And what I can say as an outsider in this community, I admire many of the attributes this community provides for itself. I've hit this theme many, many times, but just the deep connectivity. If you break down here, there's going to be a service coming in immediately to help you. I don't see any homeless people in these communities. I don't think anyone's really left through the cracks. So because there are a lot of rules, because there's a lot of structure, one of the real benefits of that is nobody, I'm sure people get left behind, but if you compare it to, most of inner city America, no, not at all. It's strength in the culture and the strength in common principles. And I can admire that and I can respect that. There's a focus on family. People have many kids. I mean, this is probably one family. They can have 7 kids, 10 kids, 15 kids. that is why minivan companies should support or sponsor the Hasidic communities, because they are their best representatives. Minivans everywhere. And the minivan culture is because of so many children. There we go again. But I met a lot of very strong women in the community, and you could tell behind the scenes they definitely ran the show in the household. Happy Shabbos.
Thank you.
It's beautiful. I practiced last night. I went to a home for Shabbos.
Oh, wow.
I never felt inferior in this community. So usually when you, not usually, but oftentimes if you get around someone, a group of people that have a strong set of beliefs, you know, you might be looked down upon for not having those beliefs. I never felt that once here. Again, I want to mention, if you walk into these neighborhoods, don't expect everyone's going to come out with open arms. No, it's not like that. It's a hard shell, but once it's opened, it's a beautiful thing. Happy Shabbat, guys. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Freedom, the toughest word to define. And so you can see here, they have the message out until candlelight tonight, basically when it gets dark. You know, no technology, no routine tasks, no minutia of life. While that could be looked at as restrictive, it can also be looked at as freeing when you have undistracted time with your family, with your friends, away from just the madness of the modern world. You know, is that free? Is that freedom? Or is living in more chaos room? I don't know. I don't know. I'm not saying jump ship and come over to Hasidic Judaism, because you can't, from my understanding. It's like you're born into it. You're born into the club. But what could be seen from the modern world as restriction, you could also look at it as freedom. And so when you have this discipline, and when you have it in this culture, and it's so defined in black and white, I don't think there's, you know, I'm sure a lot of people don't follow it. I'm sure there are all sorts of rebels in the community. But as a whole, I think it makes it all easier because you're in it together. Look at this neighborhood. I mean, they have some beautiful neighborhoods, the Hasidics. I think it's mostly Hasidics living in this neighborhood. So I just talked to this guy off camera about COVID. I really, it's a tough topic, obviously, in society at the moment, and especially when you see in this community people not wearing masks. Well, from what I've heard from most people, everyone's been through it, and if you've been through it, what's the point of wearing a mask? And so this in March, I guess, was in a very bad state. You know, ambulances going all the time, people, you know, pretty much everyone having it, going through the sickness. And so I was just talking to this gentleman, and he said, you know, they felt the bottom, and they feel like, you know, life is going like this, like up. And when I compare it to San Francisco, where I live, it feels like, you know, there's no bottom even in the near future, because everyone's so scared of each other. And it just feels like society as a whole is, I don't want to be a total dark guy, but it just feels like the energy is going down because everyone's afraid. And it's complicated, but I gotta say, being in this environment is I never thought I'd go to the Hasidic world to feel the freest, but that's the case right now. There's a certain lightness because pretty much, from my knowledge, pretty much everyone's been through it. I'm gonna miss the Hasidic community, and I thought I would never say that in my life. It was not a sentence I ever foresaw saying, but I really will. It's been a big eye-opening experience. It's been a privilege, an honor, and I'm very humbled. I'm very humbled. Thank you for all of those who were courageous enough to be on camera. I know that's not easy. Your culture is a little bit closed off to cameras, which I understand why. So for those that came out to show to me who you're all about, to show the world what you're all about. I think you're doing a big thing by doing so. So thank you. And lastly, Shlomi. Camera malfunction. Oh, well, that happened. So finishing up here, Shlomi, great guy, amazing guy. He got me into all these spaces. He got me to meet up with all these people. Without Shlomi, none of this would have happened. So we all need to thank him. For those that haven't seen his channel, check it out. I'll leave a link for it at the end of this video. Really amazing content. He's getting deep into the Middle East as a Hasidic Jew. If you haven't seen my videos about Hasidim, I made a 13-part series that I'll leave a link to at the end here. Also, going to be doing a live stream here on YouTube, January 17th. That's this Sunday, 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, New York City time. And basically, we're just going to connect, answer questions, and talk about the Hasidic series. It's the end of a long road. It's a bit of a celebration. I would love to do some question-answer type stuff and just connect with you on a closer level. And if you missed the date of January 17th, you can go to my YouTube channel here and just watch it. I'll have it saved here as the live stream, a Hasidic Jewish live stream titled something like that. And lastly, if you want to support my work on this channel, I got some links below. Patreon's sort of a monthly thing. PayPal is a one-time thing if you want to help support the channel. Thank you all so much. I wouldn't be able to do any of this without all of you watching. So thank you. Take care. Have a great week, and I'll see you in the next video.